All right, we got another question today. One of the dads of one of our wrestlers asked how training will change now that wrestling season is approaching and it's about 2 months out. So it's about 2 months, 9 weeks or so to the first week of practice. The short answer to the question is won't change at all, basically, for most of our wrestlers. So the way we train our athletes, and I did a whole video on this with this pyramid a couple videos ago. You can go back and check that out. I sent out an email. It should only be a few YouTube videos back if you're on our YouTube page. But basically, the way we train, we use what's called a conjugate method. So we're basically training all strength qualities and athletic qualities year-round, okay? As opposed to a linear version of periodization where you have blocks of training, okay? When you do linear type of training, basically what you do is you might do muscular hypertrophy for 6 weeks, and then you might do, or you might do muscular endurance for 6 weeks, and you do muscular hypertrophy, or you're trying to add size for 6 weeks, and then you might go and try to build strength for 6 weeks, and then you might go and try to improve your power or explosive strength for a few weeks, and then the season comes, and then basically you restart that whole thing. So the problem with that type of training is in 7 to 21 days, you start to lose strength qualities, right? So if I train endurance for 6 weeks, by my third week of the next phase, or the hypertrophy phase, I'm going to start to lose endurance. And then by the time in the strength phase, I lose all my endurance. So if these strength qualities are all dependent upon one another, which they are, why would I want to completely go away from one to go to another and lose that quality? You don't. You want to train them all the time, basically. And how we do that is we touch on them basically every week. So, for example, all of our high school athletes are going to be doing a max effort exercise one day of the week, and then we're going to be doing a speed dynamic effort the next time that they come in, okay, where we're trying to build speed strength and explosive strength, and then we supplement in after the main exercises with hypertrophy and muscular endurance type of training. Okay, so we're constantly touching on speed strength, explosive strength by jumping. We're touching on our maximal strength by lifting really heavy weights once a week, 1 rep maxes, and we're touching on our endurance and our hypertrophy, keeping or building muscular mass, muscular size, and keeping good muscular endurance if that's needed for the sport. We're doing that every time they come in the gym. Okay, so we're constantly working on all those things. Now, for our wrestling specific here, what we used to do is we used to start to add more conditioning as the season came closer. And some of our athletes might need that, so we will do it for them. But that's basically the only change that we need. But for the most part, 95% of the time, for 95% of the kids that we train, the wrestlers that we train now, we don't add it. We don't change a thing really till the season starts. So I found that most of our wrestlers are in really good shape. They're wrestling year round. It's not like they're doing nothing in the fall and then trying to get in shape for wrestling. Most of them are at club wrestling 2, 3, 4 days a week. They're wrestling off-season tournaments. So they're in their conditioning is fine. We do conditioning once a week with all our wrestlers at the wrestling session, Thursday nights at 6. We start the session with conditioning. We actually move through the strength portion a little bit faster too to get some added conditioning and muscular endurance out of that. But for the most part, we don't change a damn thing until the season starts. Once the season starts and we do go in season, again, things don't change drastically, but we do cut volume down. Okay, the first thing that gets nixed out if they don't have enough time would be the dynamic effort days, because that's a high volume day. The next thing that's going to get changed is we go a little bit based on feel. So I ask the athletes how are they feeling. They get a little bit more. We need more feedback from at that point, and I kind of use that to determine what we're going to do that day. So, and then we try to keep our accessories pretty high so that we're maintaining our strength that way. We're maintaining our endurance or our size. We don't want to wither away to nothing, so we maintain that. We cut our jumps down just to lessen the impact of the jumping. So we might go from 40 jumps of workout to 20 to 25 jumps of workout, and we try to get them in and out a little bit quicker. And that's basically how we change things. And then when the off season comes, after the season, they should be ready to go. If they train correctly through the season, they should really be ready to go and jump right back into training again and we don't miss a beat. Again, if you go back and watch this video, I explain this stuff a little bit, how we specifically do things, a little bit more detail. But over here on the side it says, should be no restarting the training. In other words, we shouldn't like go through this whole cycle of training and see results and then the season and then restart everything all over again. No, we should be building upon what we did last off season. We should always be constantly building upon what we're doing. And that's it. I hope that answered your question. So the short answer to how training will change a couple months out from the season starting would be basically nothing. And that's it.